All right, 47 past the hour, and with us now from Minneapolis, Republican Governor of Minnesota, Tim Pawlenty. Good to have you back on the show, Governor.
Governor, thanks for being with us. Let's start by talking Minnesota. You've got some obviously some flooding up there. What's going on?
Well, Joe, thanks for asking. Our first responders, EMT, National Guard, others doing a fabulous job responding. But got big floods, a lot of housing damage, a lot of public infrastructure damage. But the recovery and response has been excellent so far, and we want to keep it that way. So everybody's plugging away. But we really appreciate the response of neighbors, communities, and those first responders.
Fantastic. Hey, let's talk about 2012. There's been a little bit of buzz around lately that you were making some early moves to run for president.
Actually, we were in New Hampshire, and we were hearing some serious buzz about that.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Well, of course, I'm finishing up my time as governor here in Minnesota, and I'm helping out the 2010 elections. But as to 2012, I'm going to decide that in early January and February. But as part of that, we're moving around the country trying to help other candidates and trying to spread the message. And we'll think about 2012 after 2010.
All right, but I mean, you can say that, but I'm wondering, as you help other candidates, are you considering it? Or are the people that I'm talking to behind the scenes absolutely wrong that you are planning to run for president?
It is something that I've been thinking about, Mika, and I'm open to it, but I haven't finally decided that yet and probably won't until January or February.
Okay, so we've got a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll out that shows that Americans still very concerned about the track that America is on. What would President Pawlenty do to reverse that trend?
Well, here in Minnesota and across the country, we're really proud of our quality of life, Joe. And so, as you mentioned before the break, it is all about the economy. Most people's pathway to a good lifestyle and a quality of life is about having a job or an economic opportunity. So we got to do those things that encourage, not discourage, our job providers, our entrepreneurs, our inventors, our innovators, people who add employees, grow businesses. And if you talk to them, they'll tell you pretty clearly what it takes for them to feel confident and to feel like they have an encouragement to do more, not less. And it's not rocket science. These are folks who run the businesses all across the country, and they're concerned about taxes and cost structures. They're concerned about health care costs. They're concerned about workforce training and development. And thank you for spending this week focused on our education system in the country. That's a really important issue. So those are some of the things, as a nation, we need to address.
Well, Colin Powell yesterday kept talking about some exciting things going on in Minneapolis as far as education goes. We don't hear that much about it. We certainly hear about what's going on in New York, what's going on in L.A. What was General Powell talking about in Minneapolis when it came to education reform?
Well, there's a number of things going on. If I might just brag for a quick second, Minnesota has the highest ACT scores in the country, some of the highest NAEP scores in the country. We took some world science and math tests in the 1990s as if we were a country by ourselves, came in 18th or 19th or something like that. Now we've moved up to top 10 in the world. We took that same test just a year and a half ago. But here's the story here, and it repeats itself across the country. If you come from an advantaged background, our school results are pretty good. If you come from an area of concentrated socioeconomic disadvantage, the results are pretty bad. And so we know the number one determining factor of how a child's going to do in school is their family situation. But the most important school-related factor in how they're going to do in school is this: the quality and effectiveness and preparedness of their teachers. And I applaud the work that everybody's doing around the country to try to focus on that issue. Mayor Bloomberg, Arne Duncan, and President Obama even on these issues have done some good things. In Minnesota, we are the first state in the nation, statewide, to offer performance pay for teachers.
Oh, that's great.
I want to ask you about the direction of the Republican Party. For example, last night on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
Are we talking about Levi again?
No.
Oh.
Charlie Crist was talking about, and he used this phrase, reasonable Republicans. Do you think that some or all of the Tea Party candidates are reasonable Republicans? And I guess specifically I ask about Christine O'Donnell. Is she a reasonable candidate?
Well, I think in that case, Mika, she was selected by the Republican voters of Delaware in an open and fair primary. I know people are concerned about some of her comments, and she's addressing those, and we'll know more about that as it comes out. But from my standpoint, if a state in an open and fair process picks somebody as their candidate, from a Republican standpoint, I'm going to give that person deference and say, you're part of the team. We're with you. There's going to be circumstances where things come up with her or other people that they're going to have to address. address, as she's trying to do. But when the people of Delaware pick their candidate in an open and fair process, I think the rest of the party says, okay, you're now on the team and we're going to help you.
So would that would be a candidate that you would personally want to help, reach out and help?
I have. I've actually endorsed her, I think, a week or so after that primary. And I've known Mike Castle. He's a honorable and good person. He's somebody that I have a lot of respect for. But it was a fair fight in an open primary, and he lost.
All right. Hey, Governor Pawlenty, thank you so much. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Minnesota who were affected by the flooding up there. We thank you for, we wish you had been here on set, but we certainly understand you needed to stay up there and tend to the matters of Minnesota. But we hope to see you on set very soon.
Thank you, Governor.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
All right.
Bob Woodward, next on Morning Joe.